Testing, testing. Hello, everyone. Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting to order at exactly 7:01 p.m., and I'd like to welcome you for joining us tonight. For the audience here tonight, the City of Glendora utilizes a hybrid meeting format to allow for participation both in person and virtually. In consideration of others and the business conducted tonight, please silence your phones, any electronic devices, and refrain from speaking unless recognized. Again, this is a public meeting for the community of Glendora, and we appreciate and respect your participation here this evening. This time we'll do roll call. Madam Clerk, will you please conduct roll call?
Thank you, Chair. At this time, I would like to conduct an oral roll call and request that each commissioner respond with present when their name is called. Commissioner Gerber,
Present.
Commissioner Chavez is absent. Commissioner Merle,
Present.
Vice Chair Kumjian,
Present.
and Chair Luz Prochet.
Present.
Thank you. 4 of 5 are present. We do have a quorum. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call on Commissioner Burrow to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Commissioner Burrow. At this time, we're going to go through the reordering of additional items to the agenda. Does anyone wish to reorder any items or add anything to the agenda? All right, so there are none. Thank you very much. Okay, we will open it up for public comment. Has there been any public comment? This is the open public comment period. And I now invite members of the public to address the Community Services Commission. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, speaking once, both on and off agenda items. All questions should be directed through the presiding officer. This is your time to speak uninterrupted. If you're in attendance, please fill out a speaker card and submit it to the recording admin before the close of the public comment period. Once recognized, speakers should advance to the podium, state your name and the subject matter you wish to discuss. If you're participating via Zoom, select the raise hand icon in Zoom before the close of the public comment period. Once recognized, you will receive a request to unmute, state your name and the subject matter you wish to discuss. I invite those in attendance to speak. Have any requests from Zoom participants or correspondences been received?
Thank you, Chair. At this time, we've received no requests via the public comment email, no public comment cards, or no Zoom participants that have raised hands to give public comment at this time.
All right, thank you so much. So at this time, I close public comment period. And next on the agenda will be the commissioner statement reports. I invite each commissioner member to provide a statement report. And we'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Gerber.
Good evening and thank you. At this time, having just got back and missing the last meeting, unfortunately, and we were dark, I believe, the one actually last week meeting and then missing the one in July. Just getting back into it. So I really don't have anything to report at this time, but I'm looking forward to getting back now that school started and head down to the teen center and get a feel for what's going on with our youth and what they are doing down there. That has been exciting with the new director that's there. So that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I will go ahead and call on Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you, Chair. I have an exciting update from Debbie Lopez, our Superintendent of Human Services, about the homelessness, the point in time count for 2022. They were released from the LA Homeless Services Authority for individuals experiencing homelessness in Glendora. And our last one was completed in 2020. At that time, we had 145 individuals experiencing homelessness in Glendora. Given that the 2021 point in time count was delayed as a result of the pandemic, the city conducted its own census in November of 2021. And 113 individuals were identified at that time. The 2022 point in time count identified 84 individuals experiencing homelessness in Glendora, which represents a reduction of 61 people from the 2020 count, and a 42% decrease. And then there's I can't put it on the screen, but there's a chart showing us compared to other cities, and we did really well. And she says, we know that homelessness continues to be at the forefront of Glendorans' minds, and while there remains work to be done, the support of the city council over the last few years and the city manager to increase the resources available to staff to address this challenge in a deliberate way have yielded positive results, and we are committed to share the work that we are doing and the progress we are making with our community. And so that was just very exciting information to be able to kind of visually see the results of that team and the city council and the city manager team and everyone's hard work on that area and difficult topic. And it's positive to see the results, or some results, I guess we say, because there's more work to be done, but very, very good news there.
Thank you for that. All right. And Vice Chair Kumjian.
Hi, thank you. And good evening. It's great to be back, and I hope everybody survived the heat wave well and stayed cool. The Trails Council, just a quick report from the Trails Council. They were off last month. However, I just want to announce the dates for the fall hikes that were announced in the prior meeting, and that was September 24th. Will be a morning hike at Big Dalton Canyon Trails, October 29th at South Hills Wilderness Area Trails, and November 26th at Little Dalton Canyon. And also just a reminder to keep in mind the Glendora Trails Day, which is November 5th. And that will be from 8 to 12:30 at Big Dalton Canyon Wilderness Park. And that's it for my report.
Thank you for that. And I don't have any additional for the La Fecha Center at this time. So thank you very much for those updates. And next we have special items, and we'll go through.
But Director Staff Liaison.
Sorry, correct. Excuse me. I will go through the Director and Staff Liaison and Attorney statements. I might call on the Community Services Director, John Aguirre, to provide statement reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll just give you a little update on youth sports. We had a 10U Glendora Lassie League team go to the Nationals, USA Nationals in Salem, Oregon. And they did very well up there. And then we had our 12-year-old baseball team from Glendora American. They are the Southern California state champions. They've gone the farthest out of any team ever in District 20. So they had a great time. They ended up losing their first game at the tournament to go to Williamsport to the champions out of Hawaii. So they lost to them 2-1. And then the Hawaii team went there in Williamsport and really crushed everybody by 10 plus runs almost. So Glendora American did a great job. So those kids should be coming through the high school. I think they're all 7th graders or 8th graders right there. Our youth soccer has started. Games are started. So you see all the kids running around in their youth soccer outfits. Junior All-American has also started. They have had 2 home games. I think they have 2 more, but they're out practicing. And then our winter baseball and girls softball, the girls softball play over, a lot of them play at San Dimas is winter ball. And I believe the both Little Leagues are playing their own winter ball. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Director Johnny Gary. I appreciate that. We have special items and we'll discuss the Community Services Foundation presentation. So up again is Community Services Director Johnny Gary.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, a great pleasure to bring up Howard Hawkins, our Chair of our Community Services Foundation, and also Paul Lopez, the Vice Chair, to give you a little show of what they do and what our foundation does.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. The reason we're here is we're the best looking members of the committee, so. But that's not much of a bar. We are. David and ours are also members of our group. And once you guys graduate from this commission, you can come up onto us too. We're actually like the fundraising arm of your group. So we try to raise funds to supplement the Community Services Foundation. We have two major fundraisers. The first one's coming up Saturday, which is the 0.5K, which is a run for the rest of us. And we're excited we're able to do it. Staff has worked extremely hard on this and they just do a great job. And it's a fun thing and a fun time and pretty irreverent. And then our second fundraiser is a golf tournament we have done at Glen Oaks. And when do we do that? May. And what's you got to say?
Well, the other item that we've taken over is the yellow ribbon, the banner program for Glendorans that are serving our country. They're in the service. And we took that over because it slowly had deteriorated. The group that was doing it was having trouble keeping it going. So we have taken, I should say, we as a Community Services Foundation, but really John and his staff do most of the work to make that happen. And then staff from the city actually get the banners up. So, and you see those lining Grand Avenue and different places in Glendora. So we're proud to do that. The other thing that happens is when a Glendoran is no longer serving our country, that banner comes down and then it is presented at the quarterly city council presentation, which is really cool. It's really cool to see the kids come back and get their banners. So, and some we've had lately that have served almost 30 years for our country will be coming, I'm hoping, to the next quarterly presentation. So Sergeant Major. So it'll be cool to have that. But yeah, just some things that we do and try to raise as much money as we can to support the community services and the citizens of Glendora.
So we hope to see you all out there on Saturday if you can. And
0.5, half a mile.
better, you got 2 days to train for it. So
That's all you need, 2 days.
can we answer any questions?
Invite any questions at this time?
One more event that you're going to
Oh,
do.
sorry.
Oh,
We gotta, well, Howard's
we can
almost
get our
70
script.
and he was in charge. What did you say? Howard's almost 70, so, and he was in charge of, so we do have Stuff the Bus, the toy drive. And November 26th and December 3rd, we want to get as much support as we can, get as many toys as we can and stuff the bus. And we want to, we're just trying to support the community in different ways. So, and that's new for us. So, but we wanted to do something for the community and give back to our kids and make sure, well, we try to give back to our kids all the time because that's what our community is about.
Yeah, this program, we're going to target, we're trying to work with Eric from the school district and target Glendora kids that are in need so that they can have something to open on Christmas. So we do have those 2 days, November 26th, December 3rd, we'll be in front of Walmart with a Glendora transportation bus. So we will be there from 9 to 3 on those 2 days, hoping to stuff the bus those 2 days.
Do we have any questions, Luna?
Will we be able to bring toys to drop off at City Hall if we can't make it to those 2 days?
Yeah, we are going to have different drop-off areas.
Okay.
People have asked us for some boxes. So we'll be wrapping some boxes up and have them in different locations where you can also drop them off.
Perfect.
Commissioner Gerber.
better not ask. that.
Hot seat. Wonderful. Commissioner Burrow, that was my exact question and it was burning, but I'm glad that you asked it. Yes, yes. So I was gonna say, for those that want to drop off early, is there a destination at, what was your address again? Just kidding. We'll find somewhere to drop it off,
No,
but
yeah,
thank
we'll-
you for that. That is a great point. So are there any other questions, final questions? Nope. This was wonderful.
Thanks for having us.
You,
Hope to
thank
see
you for your
Saturday.
support. We
Yes.
appreciate you. Thank you. Next on the agenda is the consent calendar. And we have items on the consent calendar that will be enacted by one motion without individual discussion unless the commissioner has requested it be removed for a separate discussion. Does anyone wish to comment on item number 3? All right, I'd like to request a motion. Is there a motion to approve? All right, I see a motion from Commissioner Gerber. Is there a second?
You would want to open up your mic and say, I motion. Just for the record.
I was about to.
There you go. Yes,
I will make a motion.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gerber. Is there a second? Do I have a second to approve? All right. Can they vocalize it and then we can take care of it on the,
Vocalize it. sure.
okay.
There we go. There we go. It's in.
I second.
There we go.
Wonderful. So we have Commissioner Gerber, motion,
Okay.
motion by Commissioner Gerber
There's-
and a second by. Burr.
Yes, so we have a motion
Sorry.
by Commissioner Gerber, a second by Commissioner Burrow. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Commissioner Burrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez is absent, Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kumijian,
Yes.
and Chair Porche.
Yes.
And that carries 401. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so member agenda items. There are no member agenda items and unfinished business. There is no unfinished business and there are no unfinished business items. For new business, we're going to discuss the selection of the winter and spring 2023 activity guide cover. At this time, I invite Administrative Assistant Kelsey Fay to report.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight, we'd like to bring you the covers for the Winter Spring 2023 Activity Guide. Next slide. So here's cover option A. Next slide. B. Next slide. C. And then the next slide will have all 3 presented. So we'd like to ask that the commission discuss and select the cover for the Winter Spring 2023 Activity Guide. This concludes my report.
All right, so I will go last. Commissioner Burrow, would you please?
Oh, they're all cute.
They are.
So far I like A and B the most. I know C, I feel like she's like side-eyeing us, but she's cute. So anyone watching, if that's your daughter, she's adorable. She's probably, I'm sure she's a lovely child. It does say Earth Day on her face. I love that part, but I guess if I had to, I would put A and B above C if I was ranking. I don't know between those two yet, so that can move on to Commissioner Gerber's opinions.
Commissioner Gerber, what do you think?
Cover B for me is the top choice. Cover A, although it does give us an idea of what spring and winter is about, it just doesn't have the appeal to me that with the faces. And to your point, cover C, I'm just not quite feeling those eyeballs. She's looking very sassy, excuse my language, but I think cover B gives us a little bit better appeal.
And that leaves it to you, well, almost to you, Commissioner, Vice Chair Kumijian.
A is, I'm gonna go with A and B, but I'm leaning towards A. Just the colors pop to me, but although I guess A and B both have the same colors, so one's muted a little bit. So if we want to dissect that, but So those are my two. Well, I'm going with A.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I will go ahead and break the tie and just say that A spoke to me when I saw it pop. Those colors were wonderful. They felt inclusive. And I think that's the direction I think we all want to go in. And this is an image of our world. And so I love it. I love the colors. I like what it's representing. And so I go with A. So at
One
this
of us
time-
has to make a motion for cover A.
okay. Is there a motion to approve A as the cover?
Oh, okay. I motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrow.
Just as a quick side note, if you do want to motion and you're not able to vote, I can do it manually here. So don't let that prevent you, okay? So I think I heard a motion. Yes,
Yes, I did.
in the second. Commissioner
I
Kingpin?
second.
Thank you. I'm gonna, I am gonna open up the vote and do an oral roll call. Commissioner Burrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez is out, Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kunjian,
Yes.
and Chair Pouche.
Yes.
Great, that passes 401. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, and we will be approving the mid-cycle or motion, not motion, on the agenda. Approved mid-cycle budget and capital improvement program, CIP. And this is for the fiscal year of 2022, 2023. At this time, I invite Management Analyst Danielle Smith to report. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tonight I'll be presenting on the approved budget and CIP projects for the upcoming fiscal year, as well as giving a brief update on the closeout of the 2021-22 fiscal year. Next slide. So the figures included in this presentation tonight will include the budget for the second year in the city's 2-year budget cycle. This mid-cycle budget was approved by City Council on June 22nd this year. We're asking that the Community Services Commission receive and file this report. Next slide. So in fiscal year 21-22, the Community Services Department worked tirelessly to provide classes and programs to the public once facilities and programs could fully reopen and return after the pandemic. Staff brought back special events, trips, popular programs, and other classes to the community in a responsible manner. With the return of programs and events, revenue saw a significant increase from fiscal year 21 and to fiscal year 22. As classes and events return to normal, staff anticipates that revenue and community engagement will continue throughout the 2022-23 fiscal year. Staff also saw the completion of a grant project at Gladstone Park. The funding from that came from Proposition 68 per capita, and it went to the renovation of both the playgrounds at that site. Staff is still waiting to hear back from the state on the final closeout process, but has submitted all claims and documentation for review. Next slide. So this slide shows the ending revenue amounts for fiscal year 22. As you can see, most revenues came out over the anticipated budget staff had prepared at mid-year. Human Services saw an increase in revenues from the previous fiscal year, but had not quite reopened all services and programs to the public, which is why it is slightly lower. Next slide, please. This slide shows the ending expenditure amounts for fiscal year 22. As you can see, all divisions within Community Services expended a majority, if not all of their budget. With most programs and events offered to the public, expenses occurred as expected for the fiscal year. Next slide, please. This slide shows the final revenue for the 2021-22 fiscal year broken down into each funding source. The column on the right shows the approved budget amount for the current 22-23 fiscal year. Next slide, please. This slide shows the final expenditure for 2021-22 fiscal year broken down by funding source. The column on the right shows the approved budgeted amount for 22-23. Next slide, please. This slide shows the final budget for each division within Community Services. The column on the right shows the approved amount for the current 23 fiscal year. Next slide, please. So this slide shows the CIP projects that are approved for the current 2022-23 fiscal year. These projects have been approved with the larger 5-year CIP projects ranging from 2021 to 26. We have the demo and rebuild of the exterior stairs at the LaFetra Center, along with various building improvements, including new partitions, new flooring, and repairs to the exterior of the historic building. The teen center will also receive improvements through the replacement of bathroom partitions and the repainting of the interior. Finkbeiner Park will also receive a new restroom facility near the playground, along with the renovation of current tennis courts to include a new pickleball area. The playground will also be resurfaced similar to the playgrounds at Gladstone Park. Lastly, the Gladstone Park splash pad project is still on hold due to the drought. However, funds should be redirected towards future improvements at the park. Next slide. This concludes my presentation. I can take any questions at this time. Thank you.
All right, so would anyone like to ask a question? Commissioner Barrow?
No questions. Just thank you. You always have a very thorough report, and it seems like you guys as a department and like management group do such a good job staying within budget and exceeding like revenue expectations each time. So
Well done. Thank you. Commissioner Chavez is absent. Commissioner Gerber. Cool.
Yes, I actually have a couple of questions. The money that's going to be reappropriated for the Gladstone Park, is that going to ultimately, if we ever get out of drought, have funds available to do it then, or do we have to somehow come back up with more money to do that?
We would look, I think that one, we were out at the Gladstone Park parking lot. That is, I was going to bring that up also at the end. That should reopen. We redid the water tank we took out, and the new parking lot should reopen at the end of this month. But with the money in there, we're looking for a shade structure. But I did talk to the city manager, and he was mentioning that whenever it does, that they would like to do something there with a water feature.
Perfect, because I think that was something that was very anticipated by the community, and if it were to all of a sudden disappear at a time when we could have it, I think that would not be a good thing. So knowing that there are still open to find money at that time, hopefully within the next few years, that might come to fruition. Dates, when are these looking to start, and will they be impactful for those particular locations, preventing people from actually participating, being cordoned off? Is there a timeline for that?
They had the meetings recently to go and have walkthroughs at the different buildings. I don't know if they had the dates listed at that point.
We would, I think LaFetra Center is going to be scheduled first to do their work. We should not have really any interruptions. Ours, we would probably at the teen center would have them come in early, start at 6 or 7 in the morning. We don't open our doors till 10, where we would cordon off certain areas and allow them to work. We would try to do a lot during the daytime where the meeting rooms aren't really heavily used. They'd be doing that, and then in the mornings doing out in the game room and different stuff like that.
And then the last question I have is, it's not listed here, but we are still on track to turf all of Pompeii, yes. And that includes the infields, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That's where we're looking. In fact, the RFP is out at this time. We do have a mandatory walkthrough for all bidders on the 22nd. So we'll see who shows up there, but it is to turf all the grass fields and include turf on the infields of the softball fields. We've heard back and forth. I did talk to the president of the league for Lassie League because he had heard some people saying it maintenance wise, it's very hard to keep the brick dust off the turf. So we're looking at this time to turf everything. We did mention that most all their games or practices Monday through Friday start after 5 when it is cooling down. And usually on Saturdays, their games in by 1. So it's not in the really heat of the day. Football is playing everywhere they go. They play on turf now at usually all the outside fields. Glendora might be the only one that has natural grass a lot of times. So they're used to that, playing different times on the turf.
No, that's great. I think that's going to just revitalize that particular location and make it more cost effective, obviously for the city from a maintenance and, use of that aspect. Plus for soccer, playing down there is going to only benefit that particular program. So, no. And I think that's supposed to start in December, correct?
Well,
Or-
now it
Plan
is
was.
pushed back a little bit to
Okay.
go, it's going to council, it's scheduled to go to council in December to award of the bid. It would then go for design phase. So we don't know until we do get a contractor on of what their schedule would be. Also we're trying to run parallel with that is doing a complete shade structures down there for all the softball, football and soccer places
The seating area.
and seating area. So we already have bids. We're just waiting. It's through LA County.
Yeah, LA County, the Measure A, we get annual allocations every year. We're waiting on the 5th year of allocations to come out. And once you have enough funds, then you can go ahead and apply for those funds for a project. So that's our hope to use that.
Perfect.
Yeah, just,
Sure.
yeah,
Mhm.
thank you.
Mhm.
Just to continue on that, is all the seating areas at Pompeii?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
It'd
that's
be
great.
the all softball completely wrapped,
Hmm.
all softball,
And
football
soccer.
and soccer over on field 3.
Okay. And is this, and then going back to turf, is that in this year's budget or was that budgeted last year?
It's in this year's budget. It's through the water funds and stuff to
Okay.
say we'll be removing the turf. And also another project that we're in design right now is for the Finkbeiner Park
Right.
storage, stormwater drain. So we're in, that's moving pretty quick. We're in, but they do not have money allocated for
The project.
construction. They just have it right now for design and then they would have to find the construction, but that would be also, we're looking at turf, all that whole softball complex there and put in a soccer field lined.
And then how about the pickleball at Finkbeiner? When's that
That
coming in?
pickleball and that's in 2 phases. We just met last week with the contractor, the designer. They're hoping to go out to bid by the end of this year for pickleball with new fencing and that, and then to run right after that would be for the restrooms, the playground area and that to go. But in the meantime, we are working, we're hoping that it goes to bid pretty quick for 1 pickleball or to put 4 courts in down at Dawson, take 1 tennis court away and put 4 pickleball courts.
Oh, wow.
So that's where, so at the end, we'd end up with 8 pickleball courts
In the city.
in the city.
And any thought about reallocating the water funds to Frisbee golf? I know that was talked, or I think it was.
We did
initially
have
entertained.
information. We haven't, we have not looked at any site
Okay.
for Frisbee golf.
Okay.
It would probably be more at one of our pocket parks
Hmm.
than at Finkbeiner or Gladstone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners and Vice Chair. I did notice some language on here that maybe I think that it would benefit our community to explain a little bit, which is a good thing. In terms of the revenues, this is the overage that we have as opposed to what we were expecting to get, right?
Yes, so at mid-year, we look at our budget again to see what we're trending at and where we expect to end up at the end of the year. We try to get pretty spot on. So during this past fiscal year at the mid-year cycle, we adjusted down, either down or up, to kind of hit spot on at the end of the year where we thought we would be.
And
So,
ended up having more.
yes,
So that's a
yes,
good thing. So
yes.
under,
Chair, I just want to get for my staff and our department, for a little department to bring in over $1 million. Our golf course is hitting it out of the park.
Mhm.
But with our rentals and with our classes, our picnic rentals and our regular rentals at our sites, to do that, we've used to always try to get to 1 million. Now we're almost 1 million. We're at 1.5 million. And we're looking to try to get to the 2 million mark, to bring that money into the general fund to help offset our own what we spend.
I think that's excellent. As you were talking about the turf at Pompeii, it personally wonderfully affects the children that I have that are playing there as others. And I did wonder, out of curiosity, what's the estimate? What do we think that's going to cost for all of those things?
The turf is at I think it's a $5 million budget. And I think for the shade structures and stuff, we're looking under 1 million. So it's almost a reface of the facility. Believe it's 17 years old. And like the teen center is going to be 20 years old next year. So all our facilities are aging. So to put the money back in will be a good.
I think so. I think so. And I'm sure if we look at the cost of the water and maintenance and all of those things, that time involved, I'm sure we're going to end up having an extra overage of that too. So that's wonderful. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank
These
you.
numbers are incredible. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. So I'd like to go ahead and request a motion to approve. Do I have a first?
I motion.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Burrow.
And I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gerber.
Thank you. I'll open up the vote and do a roll call. That is to receive and file the report. Commissioner Burrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kumjian,
Yes.
and Chair Pouche.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes 401.
Thank you. And now we have the La Fecha programs and events. At this time, I invite Office Assistant Rachel Arose to report. Thank you.
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. So classes, groups, clubs, and trips have all returned mostly fully at the La Fecha Center. This fall season, we have 22 groups and clubs, 10 free classes, 3 fee-based classes, and 5 day trip excursions. We also have a number of services, including our nutrition program, the regional food bank distribution program, a legal clinic, and free manicures and haircuts. We recently hosted the annual Taste of Travel events, a showcase of the many unique extended tours offered through the city. And later in the fall, we will have the annual craft boutique and the Salute to Veterans luncheon. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's okay. It's okay. No worries.
Eddie and I found it. We got it.
Well, either way, so in addition to the ongoing program, are we okay? Are we okay? Oh, okay. Okay, well, next slide that should have like the free stuff, the free activities, the programs. So anyway, in addition to the ongoing programs like book discussion group, various card games, ping pong, crafting groups, Journey Through Grief, and the current events discussion group, the La Fecha Center introduced a few new groups and clubs. We have an American history discussion group that meets weekly to discuss assigned readings from books and articles. Sharing Memories is a new group dedicated to sharing the written and oral history of its members based on various writing prompts. And after a long hiatus, the International Community Club has returned to its weekly meetings. This group's mission is to enhance the worldview and broaden the perception of its members by sharing knowledge, opinions, and experiences from many walks of life and many nations of origin. Should be next in your slides. Our free classes include Sing for Joy, Hooray for Hollywood, English for Spanish speakers, iPhone and iPad classes, a bridge class, and a class called Setting Healthy Boundaries. We also have 3 new free dance classes, music and movement, dancercise, and adult ballet. Fee-based classes include Tai Chi, balance and mobility, and computer adventure for active adults. Next, please. And then next again. And then one more time. Okay, so our nutrition program is currently still curbside pickup only. Participants receive 5 frozen meals and 2 fresh lunches, as well as milk and fruit. The regional food bank distribution occurs monthly for Los Angeles County residents over age 60. The free food kit includes canned and dry goods. The legal clinic for seniors is available monthly for seniors who have questions regarding estate planning and elder law issues, free of charge. And after a long hiatus, the Citrus College Cosmetology program has returned for its free manicures and haircut service at the LaFetra Center. We have 2 dates scheduled so far this season, one in September and one in October, and they basically fill out every time. Next, please. The day trips at the LaFetra Center this fall include the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. Participants will enjoy a docent-guided tour of the library, which includes pieces of the Berlin Wall, a replica of the Oval Office, Air Force One, and the limited time special exhibit, The Secrets of World War II. The next trip is to the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, where attendees will see the history and cultural impacts of filmmaking, and they will enjoy lunch at Philippe's Diner. Next is a chocolate tour of Los Angeles, led by popular tour guide Kurt Tucker. The group will travel to different bakeries, chocolate makers, and even a winery for a taste of a variety of treats and confections. In November, we have a trip to Pechanga Casino. And our final trip is to the Mission Inn Festival of Lights in Riverside during Christmas time. This is one of the nation's largest holiday light collections, and it includes Santa Claus, horse-drawn carriages, and holiday treats. Next, please. The annual Taste of Travel event was held this last Saturday, September 10th. We had approximately 60 attendees. This free event showcased presentations from 3 partnering travel companies who have trips all over the country and on all 7 continents. Attendees were treated to food and refreshments and raffle prizes from the travel companies. The annual craft boutique will be held on Saturday, November 5th. We will have vendors both indoors and outside on the front lawn at the LaFetra Center. This is a really great opportunity for unique vendors to showcase their artistry and craftsmanship and become known in the local community. It's also a great opportunity for families to find one-of-a-kind holiday gifts. On Tuesday, November 8th, the LaFetra Center will host our annual Salute to Veterans Luncheon. As you know, this event celebrates our community's veterans, many of whom are participants at the LaFetra Center. Attendees will be treated to a catered lunch, live music, and of course, the ceremony from special dignitaries to honor the veterans. Next, please. So this includes my presentation, or concludes, I should say. Does anybody have any questions?
Of course, I have questions. This one is more for you, John. What budget within the city does the LaFetra Center fall under from a financial responsibility?
The general fund.
The general fund, okay.
It does have a lot of grants and stuff for the homeless out of that, but most everything else is all general fund.
And any revenue that, does the LaFetra Center generate revenue on their own through programs and whatnot? Because I know it's free for all the senior citizens. There's no
Yeah,
fees in that. and
Just
whatnot.
classes and stuff that they do.
Okay,
And then they,
Rentals as well.
and rentals
Mhm.
that goes back into the general fund.
and since we've come back, has that started to ramp up similar to what we're seeing within?
Yes, so we lost a couple of our contract classes when we first shut down, and are still trying to get some of those back, particularly fitness classes. But the day trips, those were on hiatus for a while as well. It's just really hard for, no venues were open. You couldn't go do anything. So now that things are really opening back up. The day trips is bringing in revenue again. We have, like I said, 5 scheduled this year, and I think 8 for next winter, spring. And then as far as rentals go, we're booked every single Saturday for the rest of the year. And we've been very steadily busy with those. So that has definitely come back in full swing.
Awesome. Pat yourselves on the back. You need to definitely include that. I mean, that's great. Speaking of those day trips, is there an age requirement to participate?
You just have to be age 8 or older. So
Perfect. I qualify. I saw quite a few on there that looked
yeah,
quite
and then
fun.
obviously the casino would be the only really truly age restricted one, but everything else, anybody's welcome as long as you're 8 or older with a legal guardian. So
And then my last question on the travel day that you have. How do you go about selecting the companies that come to represent themselves for that?
we have agreements with 3 separate travel companies. All of them, I wouldn't say exclusively, but mostly work with cities, municipalities, things like that. Obviously, you can just book online with the company, but a lot of them specifically target like community centers, things like that. And one of them actually is all of their trips are designed for senior citizens. So the 3 companies that we use, I'm not sure of the original selection process. When I inherited that position and all those trips, those were already in place. As far as selecting the actual trips, we just meet annually, like 18 months in advance, and just plan it for the rest of the year. So
Could other companies come and participate, or is it just those 3 and that's it?
I think it would be just those 3 unless we had sort of an annual agreement with them to promote their trip, because the trips ultimately are promoted in the activity guide and at the LaFetra Center. So I would have to check and see actually whether, like, what is the process of adding a new one. I know, like, it's a possibility. I just don't know exactly what the steps would be. So
Perfect. Thank you.
yeah.
Just a few questions, please. Thank you for your report. You mentioned that the nutrition programs are curbside.
Yes.
When is that gonna end? Do you know, or?
I don't know. We don't really have control over that because we're the site, but the YWCA actually like produces the meals and distributes them. They arrange it all. So any new attendees are signed up through them, and we're more, like I said, the site. We would love to have the meals come back. I think it's a really great social environment for the seniors, and it's something that a lot of them have missed out on the last like 2.5 years. But it just depends on when the YWCA is ready to return. We've also heard talks of potentially a hybrid program where participants who are ready to come back and eat in person can, and then people who want to maintain the curbside pickup can also do that on like a designated distribution day. But I'm not sure whether we're going to get something like that. It's really just dependent upon them. So we've been in communication with them. They've come and inspected our kitchen. Everything is in, good shape. So we're ready for them to return. It's just a matter of when. So.
And with the discussion groups, how you mentioned the discussion groups, is there like a schedule online, or where would one find like what topics or what schedule, what days? Where would one find that?
Online, the best place to look would be the brochure, the activity guide. They're all listed. They're not in a calendar view. In the activity guide, it's more listed by item, and then within that it says when it happens. The LaFetra Times is our monthly publication, and we mail that out to about 200 people. That's paid for by the Partners of LaFetra, which is a nonprofit group. And in there, we have more of a visual calendar spread of all of the activities that are going on. As far as discussion topics, that would be something that if somebody was interested, they would have to coordinate with the actual group facilitator. So I handle like the scheduling and all of that, but I kind of leave it up to them. I don't plan whatever they're talking about in current events and things like that. So that would be something where I would put somebody in direct contact with the facilitator so they could know the topics.
And that email list is, can one get on that list, or do you just go and sign up? The
Email list?
200.
Oh,
it's
it's mailed
I
out,
thought you said
yes.
email. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is available on the website as well. On the LaFetra page, one of the buttons is the LaFetra Times. So every month we'll upload the new one. So you can always view a digital version online.
And and then one last one, please. Types of events. What are you said your facilities booked till end of the year. Rental, what kind of events are coming through?
We have a lot of birthday parties, quinceañeras, weddings, baby showers, celebrations of life, just any type of, large gathering that your house can't accommodate. So we've had a lot of mostly birthday parties, I think this year, a lot of quinceañeras where the celebrant is 17 and didn't get her real quinceañera. So, and a lot of weddings that have been postponed as well that are finally happening again.
Well, thank you.
All right. I did want to know, what time is the manicure session? Do they do pedicures? Is that open to the public?
Yes, it's
Asking
open.
for a friend. That's
It's
fine.
it's open to the public. It's free. And then we do have a sign up list because they can only bring so many staff members, but it's 10 to 12 on Thursday, September 22nd and Thursday, October 27th.
Okay. Good. Calendar marked. Okay. For the craft boutique, I personally am kicking myself. Did not get to fully stay last year. So I'm excited to see that it's come back. I know that everything's sold out by the time our softball games, or one of them, whatever the sport was at the time, the game was done and all the goods were gone too. So what was the date for that again? I missed that.
Saturday, November 5th
Okay.
from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay. Community, don't miss this event. One of a kind goods. I know that for a fact. So Salute to Vets is November 8th, correct? All right.
We'll send
Yes, it
formal
all got,
invites
yes.
soon.
And I do believe I'm on that LaFetra Times because I get this beautiful, it folds open and it's wonderful. So thank you for that. The trip's good to know that 8 or older. And there was another question that I had. Yeah, I lost it. Darn, I don't know. Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to miss out. Oh, what percentage does the LaFetra get on the trips? Like what?
Like attendance?
Yeah, like the big trips.
The
Mhm.
domestic and international. We're allocated normally 10 spots. So the trip company will give me 10 spots on an excursion. And then obviously once they get onto the tour, it's a much larger group, often bus tours of people from lots of different cities. We're allocated 10 spots. And then after a certain deadline, if I don't have those filled or whatever I don't have filled, they're opened up to the general community. People from other cities, people online can sign up. Since starting in the position, I mean, obviously we've been closed and all of that. I think the most I've had on one trip was 6. So we used to fill up to 10, or we would have more than 10 and they would open up more bookings for us. Normally I get 2 to 4 per trip, or I mean, sometimes 0. We run 30 trips a year, so they're not all gonna get 10 people on them, but usually 2 to 4. A lot of couples sign up and a lot of friends, duos. There's a discount if you are a double occupancy room rather than a single, so most people sign up in 2s. So anywhere from 2 to 6 people is usually what I see on those trips.
Okay. And then just to kind of a little bit clarify, I was thinking of the amount that the LaFetra Center gets revenue off of a person booking. So let's say the trip is $2,500. The LaFetra Center gets a percentage of that amount, right?
Yes. We
And-
would get, it depends on what the agreement is with the company. Sometimes it's like a commission, like a general commission, sometimes commission on air. They also send us marketing reimbursements. So if we're marketing the trip, if I'm printing the flyers, they'll send reimbursements for that. And then we, submit the checks retroactively. So things like that.
Cool. Well, all wonderful things. Again, like I share the sentiments of Commissioner Gerber when I say thank you for all the services you provide.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, so at this time, I'll request a motion to approve the report.
I make a motion.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair Kumji.
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrow.
Thank you. I'll open up the roll into a roll call vote. Commissioner Burrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Gerber,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kumjian,
Yes.
and Chair Purche.
Yes.
Great, that passes 401. Thank you.
All right, and so the commission staff closing comments. I'd like to invite each of you to give any closing comments at this time. Commissioner Burrow.
Great job, everyone. Everything sounds great. It's exciting. Fall's an exciting time. There's a lot going on and a lot of fun, exciting updates to our parks and our facilities, and everything's looking spiffy for everyone to get back out there. So well done.
Thank you, and Commissioner Gerber.
As far as, I just, couple things. One, if you guys are not busy on Saturday night, I definitely encourage you to come to the 0.5K to support the Community Service Foundation. It's definitely a worthy cause and a lot of fun will be had. So please get the word out to friends and family over the age of 21 because there is drinking involved. In addition, I also encourage you guys to consider becoming members of the Community Service Foundation. You don't need to become board members, but we are looking for members to be a partner to help with our events and things of that nature where you potentially could, as opposed to just the board facilitating it. But also the staff of John that really puts on, and that's my last piece of discussion tonight is I personally see the amount of work that John's staff actually puts in for not only their daily jobs, but for this foundation and for other things that go on in this community. And they deserve a lot of credit for their hard work and dedication. They're never without a smile. They're never without follow-up, and they keep the department actually moving. So Kelsey and Megan, who are here tonight, as well as Danielle, you guys do yeoman's work, and I personally appreciate you guys, and thank you.
Thank you for that. And Vice Chair Kumjian.
Yes, I echo David's sentiments as well. John, you run a superb staff, and thank you. You're first class, top rate. So great. It's evident every time, we have a question. It's right there. They're attentive. So great job. And David, how does one become a member of the foundation?
We have applications that are available. It's a $25 annual fee that we require, and you become a part of the foundation. You get mailings, you get list of things that are going on. You can be invited to our quarterly foundation meetings, invite ideas, suggestions. We're open for as much information and direction as possible. We are now at a point where I am the treasurer, so we have, after this event, we will be looking at having a substantial amount of money in a coffer that we need to embark on getting back out into the community. Paul and Howard mentioned, there are things that we are doing, but we would like ideas and suggestions on what can be done that John and his staff financially might not be able to afford, but that would make a meaningful impact within the community. Yeah. One of the things that we're discussing is a community service award for almost like a scholarship, but a financial award that would be awarded to somebody who works within the department or as a team or volunteers somewhere within the entire community that has gone above and beyond that to help out and give out money that way, the bus. So we're looking for people that would come to the table with ideas, suggestions, and want to roll up their sleeves on now and again.
Yeah, I'd like to join. So yeah, thank you. And yes, and thank you for this evening. You would too?
No, I just thought of something else.
Okay. And, so thank you for this evening, and then, look forward to seeing everybody out there on Saturday, and have a great week and a great month till we meet again. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Burrow, you had something?
Last Saturday, it was a pleasure to get to give out the Kirkpatrick Award to Kenneth Porche at the Junior All-American football game. And it was great because I think he was surprised. Was he surprised? Okay, because it was a very, very sweet moment, and Brittany got to present it to him down on the field. It was very exciting. But yeah, so that was that's like the most fun that we get to have in this role, is to kind of surprise people and honor them for their dedication and service. And so I wanted to highlight that was really a special day.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrell. Thank you for the commissioners as well, Gerber and Vice Chair Kayumjian. I was going to say again, you grabbed the thing that I was like, "Ooh, okay, I have one good thing," but it's good. It's good because Commissioner Burrell was the one who did read the award presentation, and Commissioner Gerber was there to present the award, join me in presenting the award. And it was a great day. The weather was on our side. It could have been raining, but it didn't. And so I'm really thankful for that. So thank you, John, and all of the little people that put it together and made it happen. It was great. And he was very surprised. So thank you for that. I second that about the joining. I would like to join also. I think $25 is far too low. And I could just be saying that, but my mind thought, we're Glendora, maybe 100. But
I'd like to go on the record as already being a member. Thank you.
Ooh. She's grandfathered in.
I just want to make sure that everyone knows, like everyone's saying, like, I want to already, so that's why I'm not bringing it up.
Okay. Did she renew? I'd like to see the statements and the credit card bills. But yes, so you can add us both to that. But I did want to ask, can members be non-active members? Like say, I want to provide financially, can't volunteer the time. Are you okay with that too?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
no, but in the end, it's whatever anybody has the ability to provide, whether it's financial, it's physical help and support. We're open to anything because in the end, it all goes back to the community, and that's what we're here for. So.
Wonderful. Well, I'm down for a good cause. So this is awesome. I say a little goes a long way, and this community bands together. So I know that it will work out. I'm really sad to be missing this Saturday's event. I have another commitment for work on Saturday. This is the second time that I'm missing the 0.5K. I'm not happy about that, but I do have eyes on the situation and I'll expect pictures. And let's see, this is my very first meeting leading as chair. And I want to say thank you to two wonderful individuals who walked me through this. And it's not an easy thing to be sitting here, even when the audience is virtual, but I have wonderful shoes to fill. And I want to say thank you to the support of the team. And we appreciate serving our community and we'll continue to do so. So with that being said,
Madam Chair, we have a couple announcements. We did have a retirement. Jennifer Kugler, our recreation supervisor, retired after 30 years, 30 plus years, a couple weeks ago. So we had a little luncheon, real quick luncheon, low key, but we had a lot of fun. So we are in, that job is opened up right now. And we hope by the end of the year to have a new rec supervisor on staff. And then Lindsay McNeil left our department and is now in the city clerk / communication department. She's still putting our activity guide together. So we get to see her. She's still in in the same office over there. And helps us out when we need help. So we are down 3 positions. So we're running around with a lot of hats. Annie Warner especially runs around with a lot of hats over at Lafayette or at the Legion building and then down at the community center, at the teen center. And at this time, Danielle would like to come up. She has one thing, activity that she wants to announce.
As you all remember earlier last fiscal year, I presented on the memorial for Gordon Raleigh and his wife Norma. Just an update on that. We did get a photo today. The kiosk is installed in Big Dalton, awaiting signage. I had created some signage for it, still waiting on some others, but we hope to have a unveiling, if you will, or photo op within the next month or so. So keep your eye out for that. We'll send something out, but we would hope that you guys could be there for that. So that's it. Thank you.
It's wonderful news. That's wonderful news. So thank you, Elvia. Thank you, Lorena. Thank you, everyone in attendance this evening. At this time, I'm going to call the meeting adjourned at 8:05 p.m. Thank you for joining us.